Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Deji-Folutile. First of all, let me introduce my guests. Kurtis Adigba, lawyer, political affairs analyst. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, Yuri.
Barely needs any introduction. He's so regular on the program. I can say the same for Dr. Olabisi, Deji-Folutile, journalist, editor-in-chief, franktalknow.com. And we'll also be getting a remote, guest in on the program when that time comes. But I think we should talk a bit about this whole question of equity in politics. It has led people, groupings, in so many different ways. The whole idea of politics is all about the majority. So they say in politics, the majority will have its way and the minority will have its say. But that is not seen to be satisfactory, and people have to intervene. Well, some people think that you need to intervene, because if we keep on like that, then there will be some minorities that will be almost disenfranchised. You'll understand very well what I'm talking about, because I'm going over to Benue State, where they have these zones A, B, and C. And I'm hearing from Kurtis, who himself is an Idoma, I'm hearing that it's not working equitably, because between the zones, as I've explained it, or as I've mentioned it, zones 1 and 2, or A and B, zone C has not got a look in at all. So I thought we could start by asking Kurtis, why exactly is it, if there are 3 zones, and it would appear that one zone is not getting a look in terms of governance, what, in 40-something years, did you say?
20. Okay, so Benue was created out of Benue Plateau, February 3rd, 1976. So February 3rd, 2022, exactly 46 years. Now, we had military governments in the process, but also we've had civil government in the process. 1979 up until today, when we've had elections, nobody from the south of Benue, where I come from, Zone C, has been governor or speaker of the State House of Assembly. Also, the Chief Justice of the state, we got it only once for a few months, because there was nothing else they could do.
When you say they, you make it sound as if there are some people out to get Zone C people.
Zones A and B, populated or owned by the thieves in Benue, are the ones I'm talking about. That they allowed us to produce the Chief Justice of the state for only a few months, and that was because this guy was the most senior, and there was nothing they could do, and they realized that they had just a few months to go, so they just let him in. But other than that, it has never happened, and from the way things are going, it's not likely to happen. Let me give you...
indeed, we will need you to give us some more background. But Olabisi, politics is all about numbers. Whereas those in Zone C, and this is just the sort of opening gambit, might feel that it's not fair. It's been going 40-something years now. We haven't had a look in when it comes to substantial appointments in the place. Although you may indeed make your mark in other places in the country, other spheres, but within the state itself, is it politics at work there, the numbers thing? And what would you say to the assertion that it's unfair?
Well, actually, I think politics is, or democracy itself, is a game of number.
Okay.
And when you have a game of numbers, it means that at any point in time, the majority is likely to have their way. And in the case of Benue, just like you rightly mentioned, there are 3 zones, so to say, A, B, C. Unfortunately, zones A and B are populated by the thieves, while zone C, which is the southern part of Benue, is populated by the Idoma. right? And if you look at politics as a game of numbers, you can realize that the two zones are likely to outnumber the minority, which is the southern part of the state, now which the Idoma occupy. Now, it's for that to change, there has to be an agreement, a form of a consensus among the three groups, you know, before an Idoma, for example,
Yes.
may likely emerge as a governor.
And that would be equity, because that would be, as it were, quote unquote, suspending the numbers thing and say, come, let's reason together.
Exactly. You know? Let us be fair.
Fairness. The problem with fairness, to our other people. I want to bring in the Air Vice Marshal, because I was saying earlier that we might be having someone on, remotely, and indeed we have Air Vice Marshal retired Monday Morgan, who is national coordinator of the Benue Rebirth movement, which is a movement that's all about actualizing what we're talking about. Zone C, is there any way anything can be done, or is Zone C condemned to just being part of it, but not actually having the chance to rule? Good morning to you, Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Okay. Well, in case, if you can see it, in studio here, we have Dr. Olabisi, Deji-Folutile, and Kurtis Adigba. Thank you for joining us. Weigh in on this whole matter. Is it not a game of numbers, politics, that is, so that if anybody were to say that some people are being shut out, well, it's the numbers. So you are saying this is not fair. Tell me what indeed can be done in this kind of a situation. I suppose you are thinking of equity.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. We are all students of politics, whoever you are, military, civilian, whatever. There is no nation that can move forward without politics. Now, a state was created 46 years ago, that is almost half a century. And in the constituents of that state, there are tribes. And the tribes have two historical lineages. The Tiv people who populate A and B are the migrated and crossed to Benue from Congo to join the rest of us who are other tribes of the Kwarafa Confederacy. And I think what is playing out in Benue right now, and it is deep-rooted, is that affinity to historical ancestry. And it is very sad that in this time of age, people that have joined the Kwarafa children about 200 years ago have sat in the same geographical location with us, intermarried, and have even done some crossbreeding in cultural practices, still see us as different from them. So the 5 clans of Tiv land have rotated the governorship around them for the past 46 years and cannot see anything fit in the potency and the resourcefulness of the other tribes to pretend over the state. And this is where the Benue Rebirth movement started the agitation. We are a non-partisan group, but putting pressure, appeasement, and appealing to the conscience of our two brothers. Time has come for us to take the lead. Forget about your demographic advantage. Forget about anything, because we cannot delve into primitive alignment on ethnic tracks to cause the new generation a fight that they cannot finish. What are we teaching our children? That in the tripod of power in Benue, governorship, speaker, and the SSG, the only thing that we are qualified to be is to deputize. There has never been the history of the creation where there's an Idoma who is a speaker. In all the facets, all the department of ministries of Benue, the senior person in any department must be chief person. What type of clannish things are we preaching? I am from the federal system. I'm a military officer, and I believe that in leadership, no matter how little somebody, once he understands resources management and management of man and equipment, he can be a leader. If you look at the federal system, all the Idoma people or Zone C people that have been tested in any area have always excelled. So why can't you give them that opportunity in their own home state?
At home. Okay,
in
AVM.
National state.
AVM, okay, I hear you,
Yes.
AVM. One second, please. Coming back to you now, Kurtis. The question, why can't you give, the Idoma also a chance at home? They excel outside of Benue. They've been many of them have achieved national stature outside. But you're saying the issue is within us, and the AVM was just saying that actually, when you look at it, the Idoma can consider themselves the indigents that were.
Look, there is no doubt
that were then joined.
We're indigenous of Benue State.
Mm-hmm.
The thieves are also indigenous of Benue State, mm-hmm. and we can't faction out ways and means that we can show equity and justice to one another. Let me give you an example to paint you the scenario that my kinsmen, Senators Ame Bute and David Mark, who were president of the Nigerian Senate in this country, cannot be speakers of Benue State House of Assembly.
When you say cannot,
because the thief will never allow someone from Zone C to be speaker or governor of the state.
Using their numbers.
Yes, but in the country, Nigeria, these guys became speakers. Even the current PDP chairman, Senator Yoche Ayo, was also made president of the Nigerian Senate. And it wasn't because Benue had majority in the National Assembly. Mm-mm. It was in pursuit of equity and justice that he got it. Now, let me tell you another thing.
I wanted to ask you, I get it from the examples that you have cited.
I wanted to just add that, we have these same individuals sprouting our national politics and campaigning about justice, equity, and fairness. Recently, my state governor was on TV and was quoted to have said, for equity, justice, and fairness, power should shift to the south of Nigeria. We're talking about the south that has produced 2 presidents since 1999, all right? But the same governor will not advocate for power shift to the south of his state, where he's on ground.
But that has to be politically, if you want, arranged, if not strategically. And I wanted to ask you, you've no doubt heard the maxim that power is not served on a platter of gold. Yeah. That we hear when conversations like this come up that, in fact, there's a sense in which you can relate it to, what's going on now, the agitation for the presidency to come from the southeast, and the people who have, observed that, that being the case, you're going to get up and work it. Mm-hmm. Don't just rely on the logic.
It's not for lack of trying.
Okay.
We left nothing on the field trying to govern our state. You heard AVM Morgan said the same thing. It is not for lack of trying. They have just constructed a glass ceiling that we cannot just go beyond.
When you say they, you're talking about the TV.
Yes. Look, when we we join political parties. The major political parties today in Benue are APC and PDP, and both are moving towards fielding thief candidates. And because they have the number in terms of delegates, and this is people must understand that when you talk about democracy as a game of number alone, you make a mistake. Because the number alone don't tell you the whole picture. Look at Benue State, for instance. We have 23 local governments. Zones A and B have 14. Zone C, 9. They don't constitute 2/3 of the state. So why it is correct to say, oh, it's a number game? Don't forget that the minority also add to the number game to produce the result. And if you make that argument, as people always make it, okay, it means that in Nigeria today, only the North should be producing the president of Nigeria because they have the number.
Okay. So Olabisi, what would be your, contribution to this? Because look at that last point made about ordinarily only the North should be able to come up with the president, but because of what has been added, to it, the North can't do it alone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. But then I want you to know that there is something called the tyranny of the majority in politics. You see, it does not mean that it is right. It does not mean that it is just.
Okay.
And it does not mean that it is fair. It does not also mean that it follows the principle of equity. But that tyranny of the majority is there. And that is why you will find out that there are decisions that are taken by the majority in quotes. But these decisions are nonsensical, stupid, and not for the good of the entire system. Okay. Yet they claim that it is done by the majority. That is the tyranny of the majority.
Doctor, so there are states in Nigeria that
I am not saying.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I am not supporting.
Yes, look,
what is happening.
I want to point out to you that
no, I'm not supporting what is happening to you.
There are states in Nigeria that, when you look at how they are constituted, they also bear semblance to Benue.
That is where I'm going.
Look
I
at
want to look at Akwa Ibom.
Yes, Akwa Ibom.
States
Cross
like
River
that,
State.
Cross River. I'm coming to that. Yeah. And that's the point I'm trying to make is that, you see, it's a question of people working together.
Exactly.
Or not.
Yes, choosing to work together. And unfortunately, it is the minority that we keep seeking the favor or the face, so to say, of the majority.
The equity.
So it's not something that the minority can achieve on their own by just clamoring. You still need them. And as a matter of fact, just like you said about the northern part of the country, if you need to add to that number for anybody to emerge as either a governor or whatever in Benue State, it means that your people are also important in this game.
That's what I'm saying.
But the point is this. Is it also possible that your people do not vote at all for these people, so that you don't even achieve the 3/3 that we are talking about?
The 2/3.
The 2/3 we are talking about.
If we don't vote at all, then they won't come to Zone C to pick a deputy.
Okay.
Which means that once your vote is given you, it's the deputy.
Let me go back to let me check out the AVM again. AVM Morgan, you said, I think I heard you say, either in the conversation now or just before coming on, that there have been efforts in the past, peaceful efforts, peaceful protests, that hasn't yielded much fruit. This whole matter has come down to equity. If we're to go by sheer numbers, then this situation that you and fellow Idomas consider undesirable will continue. In the case of Nigeria, it was worked out among the politicians that no one section can vote a president in without contributions from the other section.
We have that in Benue. We have that in Benue, in the Constitution too.
It's also in the Constitution. So tell me your view of it, AVM.
I think what my pressure group is working on is appealing to the conscience of the elites.
Okay. The morality of the people.
Yes. the morality, yes, because what they should understand that we have consulted widely from the Tortiv, our traditional leader, the one that has gone on expedition, took the whole royalty to the Tortiv and to appease him and beg him, see reason with us. We've talked. The governor gave us
AVM. Your hands are obscuring your face. Aha. Okay, sir.
Okay. The governor gave us all the directions where and who to meet and to try to talk to them. We spoke with the current chairman of PDP, and in his own mind, he clearly told us that we have a case and we should pressurize the TV people to do that. But from the events of the last 2 weeks, it shows that when the game is on, they quickly go back to the ethnic card. And it shows that if we keep on appeasing and talking to them, those things were not going to go into their heads. Because the events that are happening right now clearly indicates that our appeasement, all the appeals that even culminated in a mega rally on the 11th of March, where the whole Benue people were gathered in the IBB Square, did not permeate into the masses yet. It means that the ethnic sentiment is deep-rooted, and we should, as civilized people, should come out at this point to say no to those things, because our children don't know tribe. Our children should not rely on tribe. We should rely on merit. We should rely on the things we can do together as a group.
Okay.
By God's grace, put together.
That would be equitable,
okay?
No doubt.
And this is what
AVM, that
exactly.
indeed
that
would
why,
be equitable.
Yes.
But you mentioned the primordial, the ethnic attitude. It's not limited to Benue, you'll agree. It's not this particular phenomenon is not limited to Benue, is it? This matter of people reverting to their little corner, it might be ethnic, it might be religious. People do that from time to time.
Yeah.
Because
one of the things that, let me tell you something, the chairman of PDP, whom I respect so much, told us something. He says that he has done a research to see that the failures of past chairmen of PDP was that they had meddled into their state's affairs. So he will not meddle into anything that is going on in Benue. But I think what happened last week is the opposite, because he went there to have a clandestine meeting with the TV people to such an extent that there is a kind of coercion to coerce accidents to step down so that the ways of Zone C might be frustrated.
Let me bring this to Kurtis, because it's a grievous charge. Clandestine meetings with one section, ultimately working against the aspirations of Zone C that we're talking about now. There's a sense in which you could say that's not exactly responsible.
Yeah, you talked about these things not happening only in Benue.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I mean, your state, for instance, you guys have muzzled.
You're bringing Ogun State into it again.
I just want to make the point.
Please make the point.
The Egbas and the Jebus have continued to muzzle the Yewas. 2 attempts. First by Benga Daniels when he was leaving to try and get the Yewa man into position to show some sense of equity. It was blocked. Second attempt was by the last governor, Mosu. Again, he came up with another person. It was blocked. And I'm saying, look at a state like Delta. They have the Shakiris, they have the Robos, they have the Ndokwas. And they have found a way to rotate power among themselves. Look at Cross River State. These are people pursuing equity and justice. And that is why when they come to the national scene and talk about these things, they have credibility. Equity is not a ministry located only in Abuja. Equity should have offices in all the states of the federation and local government areas. So the point I am making is this. When they put their hands heavily on the scale for their people, only on the basis of ethnicity, not considering other factors. It's unfair.
Okay, before we go to break now, Olabisi, what do you think of that particular notion? Because you have to see it against the backdrop of power is not served a la carte, whatever that means. Politicians like to say that.
Yeah.
You can't just sit down. But he cited the example of other states, for instance, where they've managed to come up with a rotary.
I also believe that the majority should not use their numbers to the disadvantage of the minority, preventing them of their own rights also to contest for positions. But that is where it ends. That is where it ends.
This notion, this idealistic
notion. You are
because
free.
Everybody knows that intellectually.
You are free to attempt to become something, but it doesn't end there. You still need that number.
Exactly. Well, you need the number, or you need a sort of agreement
or consensus or whatever.
You remember that in 1999, Nigeria decided that only southwest of Nigeria should field presidential candidates.
It's a decision.
Just to assuage the feelings of the Yorubas.
That's what we are talking about.
So you're saying a similar, why is something similar not doable?
Exactly, and that was what led to the idea of rotational presidency as we have in the country today. So why can't we do it? Look, we have 3 senatorial zones in Benue. Let's assume, for instance, and say, okay, zones A and B, hold it for 16 years.
That's,
Zone C.
That's the TV.
Just for 4 years.
TV.
Just for 4 or 8 years.
Okay.
That would be some element of fairness.
Okay.
But what we are saying is we are completely shut out of everything.
Okay. In the past 40 years.
Yeah. No. Okay.
In the past 40 years?
46 years.
The democratic.
Okay, we're going to come back and we'll include your calls as well. There might be some Idomas and TVs listening to us, as well as other Nigerians who are interested in the general principle. Stay with us, please. We'd like to hear your impressions too. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And this interesting conversation we're having here over in Benue State, the TVs, a main group known nationally, the Idomas, also a main group known nationally. However, the Idomas are beginning to feel a bit overrun by their brothers over there. You've heard some of the contributions on this whole matter, but the Idoma that are crying foul now, that are disenfranchised, actually, there are observers who say that, well, you Idoma Gongogolara, the Igedes are also suffering from you. What you are saying, the TV are doing to you. Yes. It's a fair comment.
It's a dumb argument, and I'll tell you why. It's dumb, very dumb. First and foremost, the office that the Idomas have, which is the Senate seat for Zone C, that they're always talking about.
Yes.
Is not an office that is shared between the Idomas and the chiefs. It is an office that constitutionally belongs to the Idomas. Now, for them to make that argument, they have invented a division among the Idomas by saying the Igedes are not Idomas. And we know they are Idomas.
Okay.
The longest serving Ochidoma, the paramount ruler of the Idoma nation, was an Igede man. Will a thief man allow me and Idoma man to be their paramount leader in their place?
It's a thief.
Yeah, it cannot happen. But an Igede man, Ajenokwabi, was the Ochidoma. We've moved from there to another part of Idoma, where Edwin Ogbu, Ambassador Edwin Ogbu, was also Ochidoma. And then, so we're moving this around. Now, the argument that David Mark represented Zone C for 20 years.
Exactly.
Because of that, they are justifying what they are doing. Is the argument, therefore, that if the Idomas are unfair to themselves, the thieves should add to that unfairness by doubling down? That's one. The second point. No, let me just finish that. The second point that I'm making, yes. The second point that I'm making is that if the Idomas have Zone C Senate seat, and they had a specific strategic goal to achieve, which is a creation of a state because of the injustice we are suffering in the state. We felt that David Mark was the best person at that point to get us that goal. And after 20 years, when we saw that the country was not in the mood to create additional states, we felt there was a need to do adjustment. And there was no term limit
for
a member of the National Assembly. So let them not double down on the injustice because they say we have been unfair to ourselves.
Okay.
How does that help the situation?
Chidi, thank you very much for holding on, calling in from Kafanchan.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Mr. Adigba, too. I am interested in joining this conversation this morning. My take here is that as far as we all know, democracy and electoral governance is a game of numbers.
Correct.
I really feel for the Idomas for not having been able to occupy the governorship position of Benue State for the past 46 years, so to speak. At this juncture, the only condition which I understand that can make an Idoma man the governor of Benue State is through equity. And that equity has to go along with consensus, arrangement, and agreement. In this respect, what they need to do is when they agree that this is actually going to come to pass, the whole political parties, for instance, as it is now, the PDP and the APC must have to field the persons from the southern part of Benue State, that is Idomas to be precise. When this is done, then the electorate will now have no choice than to vote those persons that are so selected. That is, I think that is the only condition on which they will occupy that seat.
Okay.
And the same thing that is happening in Benue State is, as well as you people have been discussing over there, is replicated in so many other states, like Kaduna State, where I am situated at now.
Okay.
The same thing is also happening in River State. And this is the only condition on which the minority people will have to occupy the governance seat. Let the understanding be there, and let the consensus arrangement be there also.
Okay.
That is what is going to promote equity.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Indeed, thank you very much. AVM Monday Morgan retired. Okay, I believe we're connected.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The matter about maybe when you were aware, or maybe in any case you know all about it. Kurtis in studio has explained the Igede situation, because there are those who are observing that, well, if you say what you say that the TV are doing to, you know, the Idoma, well, the Idoma are also doing to the Igede people as well. But I don't know if you heard Kurtis's explanation that it's not an intelligent argument at all.
Yes. Yes. Let me say something here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The issue of that is a divide and rule tactics that they employ. On their own side, we have the Tulos, we have Jukuns,
okay,
we have Nymphos in zone A and B. What have they done to them? Anyway, that is not to say we can suppress our own minorities in our group. Just like Kurtis said, Igedes are Idomas. They are just a dialect of Idoma.
Yeah.
And Igedes have been deputy governor. They have been head. They have been
secretary to the government.
Ochidoma before, and there will still be Ochidoma when the rotation comes, because we don't suppress people. And today, if they can contest election, one of them has bought a form for PDP to be part of the election for Senate. Let him try his best. They can even vie for governorship. Nobody is going to deprive anybody. The best, we're always looking for the merits. We want the best to emerge in our zone, and that is the issue. One of the things I want to suggest and to appease to the minds of our TV brothers, they should know that the time whose time has come, something like must happen. 2023 is the time for Zone C, and they should it is not a shameful thing. They should concede. They should concede so that there will be progress in Benue.
Okay, so this is in the form of an appeal. This is in the form of an appeal to sound reason.
Yes.
Okay. One moment, sir. One moment, sir, because I've got to take a caller has been holding on from the UK. Good morning, Mr. Ade in the UK.
Good morning, Dr. Yori, and good morning to my friend and my sister in the studio.
Okay, thank you. And you've ignored, after your sister, you've ignored completely Kurtis Adigba in studio.
He said, no, my friend.
Okay. So that's why I
okay, you started Adigba, and then your sister.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Carry on, Mr.
Adigba. Thank you.
I want to appeal to my brothers and sisters in Benue to please allow the Idoma this time around. The last caller have made a point. Don't dismiss his call. Now, what you need to do is that underground, go and appeal to APC. If APC can pick somebody from Idoma and look at the east side, a popular person, go and make that person a deputy governor and let the king.
And they're complaining that is the best that they'll be getting. Deputy, were they made for deputies?
We've all been getting deputy governor.
Deputy. They said that one is not enough. And it's not just the governorship. Other speakers, other significant offices. It seems like the Idoma man is locked out, or woman is locked out, almost.
Dr. Yori, listen to me. What I'm saying is...
Where is the doctor? Why are you putting doctor? Why are you putting doctor in front of Yori? There is only one doctor here.
It's aspiration.
It's the Idoma that are church changed, isn't it? Is it not the Idoma that are church changed?
Well, yes.
Pick governorship candidate from Idoma and pick deputy from other side, which has not been. Idoma has been church changed. They have not been having governor for years.
Yeah.
So let APC pick a governorship from that place.
Okay.
And deputy from the other side, and let the only Idoma vote for APC, not vote for PDP. They can win election in my state, in Ondo State, Will State.
Okay, you're talking about your state in Ondo. Sorry, Mr. Ade, you're talking about your state in Ondo. Kurtis reminded us that in Ogun State, his view is that the Yewa are also suffering, as he put it, because between the Jebus and the Egbas, they are sort of sorting matters out. I don't know, being a Yoruba man yourself, did you have any contribution in that area?
Ogun State is totally a different state in the whole southwest. Totally different.
Okay.
Ogun State are the only one being the president of Nigeria. Those states have never been. Egba are only taking it from us. That one is a different scenario. A program for another day. Because we will ban Ogun State from competing for presidency. Leave it to other states like those states and others. So that is why competition between Ijebu and Egba, that's why Yewa cannot get it. But this time around, we want Benue State, the Idoma, to be the governorship candidate. So my friend, Adigba can be Attorney General of the Federation. Because I want good thing, so that then I will know that I have a friend in the government. So it's very important.
Malami is your friend.
Let's cooperate. Malami is not my friend though. Dr. Yori, be careful.
Malami is the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice, and I think he's therefore everybody's friend in an official sense.
Yes.
In an official sense.
Yeah.
He works for the country, he works for the people of Nigeria, he works for the laws of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it works for everybody.
Mr. Yori, do you know that Nigeria is fairer to all of us than our various states? When we are championing the cause of equity, justice, and fairness at the federal level, we are saying that, we have to zone offices, even within the parties, we have to zone party offices, we have to zone offices in government. This doesn't happen at the state level in most cases. And you don't forget that states are the laboratories of democracy. What you don't practice at the state, you are not likely to succeed in practicing it at the federal level. But the reverse is our case here. The federal government is doing better because we're coming together, building a bigger basket that is accommodating almost everybody. But when it comes to the state, that's where the highest level of injustice and iniquity are taking place. But then we have champions from the states going to the center and preaching justice fairness and equity, why they are not practicing it at home?
They are not able to practice it at home.
That's a problem.
The AVM was, what he said was virtually an appeal to reason, an appeal to...
That's what we've been doing.
You know, that, look, this doesn't make sense, and everybody can see it. However, I don't know how strong those sentiments are that he also referred to, the, you know, the ethnic sentiment. When the time comes, then people remember effortlessly that, oh, I'm TV, and it doesn't matter how not good he is, that's where I'm going to have to vote. Idoma probably are doing the same, but they don't have the numbers.
That is a major, I think that is even a major problem in our polity. When you look at things from ethnic, primordial points of view, because it totally rules out
merit.
It does. It does.
Why should you elect or put somebody in power just because of where that person comes from?
I've also heard the other troublesome, controversial argument that meritocracy we're not that developed yet. I've heard that. I'm still trying to understand it. We have not developed yet to the level of meritocracy. No matter who you are, where you come from.
We have not chosen meritocracy. We have not even practiced meritocracy. So something that you have not practiced, how do you now talk about its development?
Doctor, merit is not an event.
Please hold the thought, because Reverend Dominic in Alimosho has come on the line. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Chief Yori.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yori, there is something I actually want to ask us consciously. Why is it in our nation, Nigeria, that we quarrel about where somebody governs a state or a nation comes from, and we don't quarrel about development? I have a little bit traveled some part of the globe. If you go to America, where do the leaders come from, east or from north or from the south? If you go to Dubai, where is the leader come from, east, north, or the south? When we go there, what
Dubai don't have election.
It's development, it's good governance, it's good roads. Wherever the governor or the president comes from, it don't
Although you are reminded from studio that Dubai's democracy, if it is that, Dubai is a monarchy.
It's a monarchy.
It's a monarchical democracy. It's a monarchical democracy.
What I'm talking about here is not even the nomenclature of the name of the government. What is China is practicing? Whether it's democracy or autocracy or whatever classy, what I'm talking about here is this sentiment where we come from. Let me tell you also, I think the cause much problem. The most problem of Imo State today is what I'm talking about. I come from a wedding, central zone. The people who have been governing us most of the time were Olo, where Rochas and his brother and I came from. Just 3 years ago, they voted somebody from a wedding, which is the head yard. And you know what happened? Supreme Court throw it back to Olo, central zone. That is bone of contention in Imo today. But I don't care about that. What I'm trying to say is this. Why is it the sentiment is on where the man is governing, not what he's governing or what he's achieving in government? Let me use Benue State, for example. If the Benue, like Kurtis, my friend here is talking about, if the people have got everything, good road network, good everything good, I don't think Kurtis will talk about his brother being a governor or his sister being a governor or an in-law. But because of bad governance, and as long as it's still in our nation, this is why we're looking for president from Southeast. And let me say finally, there's no way you go in Nigeria, any local government, you will not find a qualified man can govern Nigeria.
Exactly.
Govern their state, govern their local government. What they call it, merit is on our table. We are well educated here to cry aloud. Anywhere you go in Nigeria. So merit is part of it. But justice is what I'm crying for. Whether it's a justice is good road, justice is a flyover, justice is water, or justice is I do not know. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Reverend. Indeed, God bless. I interrupted you. You were going to comment on the whole matter about meritocracy and the lack of it in these parts.
People talk about merit. Merit is not an event that will just drop on you. It has to be practiced.
Exactly.
We have to put people who we suspect have the qualities and the desires to bring about transformation. And we have to see them perform and then build on that. So this idea that we're just going to choose merit and it will just drop on us. It's not going to happen. Now, the second thing he talked about, and I want to address, is the fact that, look, we all want progress. But you see, progress do not necessarily displace a feeling of being wanted, or fairness, or equity, right? Now, Benue, like he said, has not really made progress in terms of the fact that we have one group dominating the affairs. And we feel that we have what it takes to bring about that progress. And that's why we've been appealing and say, try us. You've done this for years, you know, and you haven't moved anywhere. Bring in a different set of ideas and people and eyes. Let's do it for all of us. Now, when you talk about people forgetting about where they come from, all right, I can tell you that why that is a goal and desire, it's actually not happening in the whole world in entirety. Very rare have we seen that happen on global stage. We saw in 2008 how Barack Obama was elected president of the United States. Barack had the quality to be a leader. He was on the campaign trail for over 2 years. Americans could tell who he was. Okay, and so
but they say he had been working on it 10 years before that.
And it's been relating to the people. But do you see that in 2016, the gains that were made in America with the election of Obama were all lost by the election of Trump, when it became clear that white Americans felt that they made a mistake in electing a black man as president. In fact, Van Jones on CNN called it a white lash.
Okay.
That what happened in that election was a white lash. So these things are bound to peep out their heads. But what we are saying is that if we focus on equality, we've talked about fairness and justice, and like he said, there is no part of Nigeria that you cannot find people with merit and quality to deliver.
Indeed. AVM, coming to you now as we, round off the program, you said that innumerable, appeals have been made. You're still in the whole process. That is, for now, the only way to go, is it? This whole matter about appealing to reason, laying all the facts down, and so people can see that this is not quite on, this is not reasonable, because perhaps people are not, subconsciously like that. Maybe they just are doing it, whatever they are doing subconsciously. It's going to require an effort to not do what they've always been doing subconsciously and realize that we have talent elsewhere. Is that your, because that's the only thing that can be done, short of being handed, you say, okay, in fact, there's an interesting expression I understand that there's in, you chop, what is that expression? Chop and let your brother chop.
Chop, yes.
You chop and give your brother chop, but the chop and give your brother chop is within their clan. It's only within the chiefs. They don't expect that.
Their brothers don't extend to the Idomas.
To partake. Yes, to partake. Now, let me say something here. I just want to appeal to the conscience of all the political allies in Benue and in the entire Nigeria, that common sense will make peace to exist in our country.
Yeah.
The elites are the ones pulling the electorate in the negative or positive direction. Here today in Benue State, I can mention the people that will take the future of this state either to the positive direction or the negative direction.
Okay.
The governor.
Yes.
Dr. Ayu, former governor or Senator Suswan, and the Tortiv himself. These four people.
What about Akume? Senator Akume?
And and Akume.
Yeah.
These four people, including the Tortiv, naturally come together to take a decision on the political leadership of Benue.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, AVM. I beg your pardon, AVM. We've covered this. We've absolutely used up our time, and we're going to have to leave it there. Yeah. I think it's a fine place with your recipe of get those 5 people and indeed progress can be made. Thank you very much, AVM Monday Morgan, National Coordinator of the Benue Rebirth Movement, and we've been hearing why there's a need for a rebirth. As I said, we've completely run out of time. All that's left is to, okay, let me thank you, Olabisi, Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile, and 10 seconds.
As we're in the studio, somebody sent me a message.
Yes.
He said, don't worry, pray that what happened in Kogi should happen so that your people can become governor. Why do somebody have to die before we do what is right?
Okay, and that's
you understand
that final word there from Kurtis Adigba, lawyer and political affairs analyst. Thank you all for coming on the program. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.